Hi, Kathy. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry that I'm running a little bit late. Hi, Lisa. Had an important phone call that I had to take care of that just could not wait. Hi, Jean. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Carolyn. Welcome. Where's everybody coming from? I know Jean. There's Vesta. There's my Vesta. Hey, Sharon. If you're new, please let me know where you're tuning in from. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Kathy. Yay. Hi, Tony. I really need this because that last phone call had me a little on edge a little bit. I mean, you know, when you're out of state and trying to look out for people, it can be hard. Hi, Mindy and Nancy. So I need this to just like bring it down, relax. I'm with all of my friends and we are going to have a really, really fun time just creating and playing. So good morning. Oh, let's see. Hey, Tone. Okay, I'm trying. Elk Grove, Illinois. Okay, the comments are going faster than I can keep up with. Hi, Pam. Okay, well, thank you for telling me where you guys are tuning in from. I'll have to go back through the afterwards and read through the comments and reply. It's just scrolling so fast I can't keep up. Okay, so hey, Doris. All right, so I've got a lot of people intrigued about this school clue thing, and it is so much fun. You're really going to like it. So I am going to flip the camera around and go over a couple of things really quick, and then we're going to start playing. So hold on. Okay. And we just have to flip this around. There we go. Move things over. I think that looks pretty good. Get my pillow behind me all situated. Okay. So my name is Julie Heights and I am the chirpy card maker of Quilts and More. And I live in Toledo, Ohio, where, boy, we almost had to turn on the heat last night. Slept with the windows open. It was wonderful. It was like that perfect sleeping weather where you can get underneath your quilt and just snuggle in. So what I want to remind everyone is this is the last month of Celebration. And Celebration is Stampin' Up's promotion. It was through August and September that with qualifying orders of $50 or more, you can earn free merchandise, free product that's exclusive only to Celebration. So that goes on till the end of the month. What I am going to be using today is the Textures and Frames. This is a stamp set that I overlooked. But I'll tell you, this little one right here, this is my favorite right now. But all of these make for some really, really neat backgrounds for some very simple stamping. So that's what I am going to be using. So we'll get this out of the way. Now, what I wanted to also share with you is if you're ever wondering about ink color combinations that work well, Stampin' Up has really already figured that out for you. If you look, or can you see this? Hopefully I'm in screen here. You wouldn't believe the setup I got going on around me because I have pulled so many ink pads out in different color combos based on what I found in the mini catalog that oh my goodness, I am organized chaos right now. But in the catalog, you will see that under the different suites and collections, they give you the colors that coordinate with that suite. And so that's where I go for inspiration. I know they've already told me what colors work well together. Now, when you're blending colors, what you have to be careful of is that any two colors don't just create mud or brown. So you'll really want to pay attention to that. Like, I wouldn't want to blend these darker colors together so much, because I'm pretty sure that you would get mud. But if you pull out the lighter colors and a color that complements that has contrast, we already know, like if you would combine red and yellow, that you get orange. So you be thinking about those primary colors that you always learned about, and how, you know, if you mix these two colors, you'll get this next color. So what I did was I went through, and these different color suggestions here, I pulled out some ink pads that, you know, you're not going to know until you play. We'll see how they work together. But what we're going to play with today, I just went through the mini catalog and chose colors, 3 colors out of what they tell you coordinates well with that designer series paper, and that's where we're going to begin. We're going to play. So I've already got a whole bunch of my pieces of Whisper White already, the techniques on them, but I want to show you the technique. So what I've got here, I had some scraps of the shimmer paper, and I've got some Whisper White here. But the secret to this technique is school glue, Elmer's glue, and this is an off-brand. This was by Doris. We had a pack of Tans go out of business here near Toledo last year, and so when they were closing the store, I got a bunch of school glue there for like a quarter. But it's just your white school glue, and I believe you can use the clear also. I even had read where if you've got this the fine tip glue, that it will work. I didn't try this, so I can't tell you from experience if this works. I went right to my school glue for this technique. Now, when you do this, you're going to have to give the cardstock some time to dry. So by the time you're done watching me blend colors, your paper should be dry, and then you can start playing. But need school glue, and I'm using an acrylic block. Okay? So are you with me so far? Okay, I'm just looking over at comments right now on the computer. Just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so I've got my silicone mat underneath my cardstock here, since I'm going to be playing with glue. And what I'm going to do is I am going to put glue right on my acrylic block. Okay. Now watch this. This could freak you out, but it's so much fun, okay? We're going to take this and we are going to slide the glue all over, and just lightly touch it, and you don't have to cover every little bit of your cardstock. But can you see that? Can you see the little pools of glue? Now, your cardstock is going to start bowing up like this, but as it dries, it will dry flat. So once you've got that done, then you just want to sit this somewhere. And speaking from experience, don't sit it somewhere that you're going to put a piece of paper in your hand and toss that piece of paper to the side, and they get glued together. That happened to me last night. So just find a safe place to put that to dry. And I got a couple more pieces. Now this is the shimmer paper. I'm hoping that the shimmer still comes through because this glue does dry clear. So I'm hoping that it will still have a little bit of shine. So I'm going to put some more glue down on my acrylic block. And really, the more glue you put down, it's just the longer it's going to take for your paper to dry. And let's get that shadow out of there, okay? And again, I am just going to start smearing that glue around on my cardstock. See that? And like I said, you don't have to get it completely covered. What the glue does, the glue, when it dries, it is going to, it creates this barrier, and the only thing it does is it will only allow so much of the ink to penetrate that spot. So that's what that does. Let me set that aside. And let's do one more. And then we will start blending with the other sheets that I did last night so that I would have them ready for today. So put that glue on there and just start smearing that around. Just putting some texture down. Now, when you look at the texture, oh, the shadows are terrible. When you see the texture, remember this is going to dry clear and this will flatten out. So you're not going to have big, really big bumps. Okay. And let's set that one over here. Did anybody play or were you just watching? Now I'm going to take a wet wipe and I'm just going to clean the glue off of my acrylic block. If you don't have an acrylic block, you could use like a piece of acetate or something like that. But you can put the glue right on your blocks and then just wipe it off when you're done. And I had a paper towel somewhere. Like I said, I have like this, what looks like organized chaos on my craft table right here. But just clean your block and you're good to go. Okay? So how many played while I was doing that? Lisa's going to play as soon as I get done with bus seating charts. Okay. Vesta's playing. Okay. Or Doris. Michaeline, hello. Hey, Karen. Good to see you on here. Okay, no break from the heat in Florida. Oh, Kathy. Okay, Pam is playing. All right. So what did you think of the process? Did you think that part was fun? And then we're just going to clean off the silicone mat. And we can set that aside. Before I forget also, September's host code is new. So that is written right here. And what a host code is if you place an order through my online store, then I send little thank you gifts to those who place a $50 order or more every month. And then when what it does is it helps me earn, if your order is under 150, because over 150, you want the Stampin' Up! Rewards. But if your order is less than that, when I can earn the Stampin' Up! Rewards, then that is what I use to purchase the thank you gifts that I send out at the end of each month for those who had placed an order with me. So I hope that I explained that well. Let's see. So let me bring back in the mini catalog. And this is what my paper looks like after it dried. You can feel in spots that there's glue there, but other than that, you can't see it. But it's been treated with the school glue. Okay? And I pulled out Real Red let's see, Real Red, Garden Green, Pear Pizzazz, and this is from Painted Christmas. Now there is one color that I found works really well as a constant, and that is Gray Granite. I am going to mix a little bit of gray in with these three colors here. Okay, so Gray Granite I'm going to use in all of my blend, you know, blending my inks. And then I pulled out three colors that I believe will work well together. We will see. So let's start with this one. And here's my paper. Now what I like to do is I like to start out with the lightest color first. So let's bring out the Pear Pizzazz. Now you may have blending brushes, you may have daubers. I have these little things where you can interchange them. I always just clean mine off with my chamois and then blot them on a paper towel to make them last longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of this Pear Pizzazz here on my sponge. Oh, tapping might make you guys dizzy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start putting the color down. Do you see how the glue grabbed the ink and it's got a darker saturation, lighter saturation? The glue is, that barrier is controlling how much absorption of the ink the paper's taking. Okay, so let's just put in maybe a little bit of more of that over here. Cool, huh? So let's change colors. Now here is where I like to bring in my gray. And you know what? I have another sponge that I will use just for my gray. Where did I do with the... And I really don't want a lot of this. I think the gray works well like around the edges. And see, when it hits the pieces, the spots in your cardstock that doesn't have any glue, I mean, it's just like if you were sponging on a clean surface. And then it hits those spots that has the glue on it, and it creates the neatest texture. And it gives you that grungy look. So that's all the gray that I'm going to use for right now. I'm just going to close that because I'm really good at attracting ink on me. And I'm going to just get some of that ink off of that other dauber that I had. Where's my paper towel? Just clean this off. There's no more ink. Now let's bring in some Real Red. Oh, sorry, forgot. Gonna make you guys dizzy. And let's just hit some areas that still are white. And you could always tap off. Okay, so now that red, when the Real Red, when it hits some of the gray, has deepened it. Mixing in with some of the green is giving you kind of like an orangey or a salmony color. And let's look at, boy, everything is casting shadows today. I don't know what I did differently with my lighting today than last night or the other night. Let's bring in that Garden Green. And I may not want to get too close to the red. But let's go maybe here. And this is all just about playing. There may be parts of your palette that you don't like, but you can always save these, and then maybe you want to punch an area out to use as a background for a tag or something like that. See, here's a really good example. To me, that looks muddy. So, you know, but it could also, as long as I don't put too much of that in there, it could also just add more depth. So it's all about playing. Now, let's see. I think I'm going to go back in with maybe some more Pear Pizzazz, because seems like, oh, come on, stamp pad. I kind of lost my Pear Pizzazz in the other colors. And I might want to bring in some more of the gray. Ooh, I like what happened right there. Oh, I do like bringing back in that Pear Pizzazz. When it hits that garden green, look at these little lines and swirls. Just where that ink, you know, it's going across your paper really smooth, and then it hits the dried, where the glue had dried, and it kind of like stops it, and the whole thing is different. Ooh, I'm liking this. Oh, I like that. Maybe just a little bit more gray, and I'm gonna quit playing with that. I think the gray, what it gives, the feel that it gives me is kind of like an antiqued look to it, where it hits those areas. And you can use it to kind of subdue maybe some brighter colors, but I am going to stop right there. And you know what this reminds me of? The suite in our catalog that we couldn't get the paper because it kept selling out all the time. What is in the main catalog? What is that DSP? Something Expressions maybe? I gotta find it. But what it does is it reminds me, maybe I'm going too far. You know which one I'm talking about. It's always seemed like that designer series paper was selling out so fast that it would go on back order. Artistic Impressions, maybe? Well, how far back was that? I didn't think it was this far, but I gotta find it. I'm sorry, because it's gonna drive me crazy. Expressions in Ink. Doesn't this kind of remind you of what is going on? Like if you had these stamps, or this stamp right here. This is what this technique is reminding me of. I just wanted to show you that. That popped into my head, but that's what it reminds me of. And these three colors here, you know, it came from the Painted Christmas, but this just gives me the impression that I'm in a rose garden. The colors just remind me of a rose garden or any garden. So then what I liked doing was this stamp here from the Textures and Frames, this one right here, these little splats. You can definitely decide what you want that color to be. I'm going to bring in the gray, the gray granite, but I am not going to go full strength here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp off, and then let's just test it right here in the corner. But it just gives, you see the texture right there? Without it being too loud or overpowering, it just kind of fades into the paper and just gives you one more layer of depth to your own designer series paper that you're creating here. Just subtle, just very subtle. So we played with that color combination. I can easily overdo when I start playing. So I'm going to make myself stop. Can always go back to that one. Let's get these colors that we've used out of the way. Oh my gosh, you guys, my space is driving me crazy because I just think and create better when I got everything organized. This starts to like give me anxiety when I got this much going on in front of me. Let's go back to the mini catalog. So we tried that one. Let's go to Whimsy and Wonder. And I pulled out, where were my colors here? Not that one. What did I do with them? I think I was going to go with Polished Pink, Mint Macaron, which I think I just... Did I have Mint Macaron out? Okay. That's soft seafoam. Where did my Mint Macaron go? Well, isn't that something? Oh, here it is. It's got the French or some other... No wonder I couldn't find it. So let's bring that one. What other color? Do I bring in Misty Moonlight? Because if I go with Mossy Meadow, it's just different colors of what we just did, basically. Or bring in Blushing Bride. And I know I had that one set out here. Let's try these three. Let's try these three colors with the gray. Let's see what we get with the colors from the Whimsy and Wonder. Okay, so here's my treated piece of cardstock. I'm going to start out with my lightest color, which to me, I'm just going to start out with Blushing Bride. And that was my gray dauber. Let's make sure that this is cleaned off. Stamp that off first. And let's just put this down. You don't have to use a real heavy hand. Just glide your sponge or your brushes. Ooh, that's pretty. Just glide it over your paper and just see where it's catching. Ooh, I like that. And I am one who just loves pink and gray together. That is the best combination ever. So let's bring in some of the gray granite. I just think this looks just like the stamp set that you can get in the annual catalog. It would make, this technique here would be a great complement to those stamps. Okay, let's stop there. Let's just stop there. I'm just going to set that aside with that on it. Now let's bring in some of the Mint Macaron. clean off our dauber there. And let's lay down some of this color. Ooh, so pretty. I'm thinking baby card. Until we put on the polished pink, and then it's gonna be wow. I think I want this corner to have some more green. Okay, we'll just stop right there. And then we will bring in the polished pink. And I might want to, whoops, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting not to pounce too hard. Okay, and let's just go in. And some of these areas, I don't think I'm going to want a whole bunch of this because I don't want it to overpower the card. And I think I'm going to come back in with Blushing Bride again. Again, this is just playing, and that you just go back and forth and see if it's, does it speak to you and say, I need something more. And if you can't, if nothing is coming to you right then, don't force your creativity. Set it to the side. Go back to it an hour later. Don't force it. Ooh, look how that Blushing Bride is blending in those other colors. Oh, look at that. Just helping to pull. Now, this area here, I think, needs some more mint macaron. Or maybe we should try some more of the gray granite, too. I think the gray just kind of anchors the colors, if that makes sense. And it also brings out the texture. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. And I do want to come back in with some more mint macaron. Give yourself permission to play. That is something I learned in some art classes that I took at the botanical gardens. The instructors, when I would overthink the process, give yourself permission to play. Don't overthink it. Okay, I'm just going to stop right there. And look how different when you bring in the two pieces are. Now, I may look at this a little later and say, you know what? Probably need to bring in a little bit more polished pink. But what if, let's set these aside now. What if I brought in that polished pink, and instead of adding the color with the sponge, what if I stamped off, let's see how many generations of ink if I wanted to stamp this off and put this as my texture. So 1 generation, 2 generations, 3 generations. If I came in with the 3rd generation, there's just, just like maybe some water droplets got on my cardstock. Very subtle, but still it gives it that texture. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you wanted to, you could bring in like your circles. You could bring in these other images and give your, let's bring in the circle and go 1, 2. I'm going to try here in the corner just in case I don't like it. But I mean, you know what I mean? Just play. Just play. But you could do that. So I don't want to stay on one too long because we got other combos to play with here. So I'll move those out of the way. And we're just going to set this one to the side. I can show you an example of what I was playing with the other night. And now these I ran through an embossing folder also. But here I've got the circles. And I've got the gray in like the first generation. Here's some colors. This was just playing. I don't like the leaves that I chose for in this at all. And I wouldn't go with the granny apple green as like I did here. But it was just, this is just playing with color combinations. So, I mean, these, you could take a circle punch on an area that you really liked and save that. But what we're doing is we're getting just a feel for blending colors. And we're playing with texture. So, the next one, what is my next one? Ooh. That's a disaster waiting to happen. Okay, this is the one I really wanted to see how it came out. This is the Blackberry Beauty. And I am going to go with Polished Pink again, Rich Razzleberry, and I don't have anything gold, but I am going to try the Pale Papaya and see how these three colors play together, okay? So we'll pull that one out. Let's see how this is going to play. We're going to start with the Pale Papaya. Going to look at comments really quick. Yes, Sharon, what we're going to do is I want you to play this week. And then when you've got a color combo that you like, then I want you to repeat the process. What we're going to do is we're going to do a 6x6 one sheet wonder. So once you're comfortable with the technique, and let's say you found your colors that you're in love with, then I would go with a piece of cardstock, and I'm actually going to go a little bit larger than a 6x6 so that I could trim it down if there's an area that I didn't like. So you decide how big of a piece that you want to start out with. But then we're going to trim that down to a 6x6, and then we're going to trim it down even more to create cards using our own designer series paper. I'll give more details on the things that you will need closer to next Thursday. But this week, I just want you to play and get familiar with the technique. And then we'll do a part 2 next week. Okay? Mindy Berman, I'm so glad that I saw your name on here because the wheel spun your name for the Halloween Snow Globe Challenge winner. So I will be getting something out to you in the mail. So congratulations. I'm so glad I saw your name because I got so involved in this that was one of the announcements I was supposed to make right away. So let's do the Pale Papaya. Ooh, I like this already. And where there was more glue, you know, a thicker area, look how it grabbed and really darkened the Pale Papaya right there. I like that. I might try to see if I can't bring some more of that out. Oh, look at this. Look at that right there. Isn't that so cool? Let's see. Let's try and bring some. See if anything else comes out. Wow, I like that. Who would have thought? Pale papaya. Okay, now I always go to my gray second. Let's keep it kind of on the edges here. I don't know why this neutral, the gray, works so well, but it just does. Okay, maybe right here a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Now let's, I think I'm gonna bring in the rich raspberry. You know, rich raspberry was never one of my favorite colors, but it grew on me with I think it was a barn quilt block that we did that I used rich raspberry. And when I did, I was like, man, I overlooked this color because Blackberry Bliss is my favorite. But I really do like rich raspberry. So let's bring this in and hit these other areas. Oh, wow. That really got pinky. That reminds me of polished pink. But I'm liking where this is going. Ooh, I'm liking where this is going. Maybe a little bit up here. Okay, I'm going to stop before I overdo it. Now I'm wondering, is polished pink going to be too close to that? Do I bring out the Blackberry Bliss for a little bit darker color? Because I'm really thinking that this is going to be really familiar. I mean, going to be really similar. But that could also be a good thing too. Well, what do we got to lose? If it's too close in color, it's not really going to look like I did anything different, right? Let's test that in a corner. Let's see here. Ooh, no. Well, no, now it gives it just a little bit red. Oh. Do you think I stick with polished pink, or should we try some Blackberry Bliss? Or do you think this is going to be too bold with the colors that we're putting down? I'd kind of like to see what you guys think. So let me know in the comments. Polished pink is nothing like the rich raspberry. Not like I thought it was going to be. But I'm just wondering if that Blackberry Bliss would be too much. And look what happened when I put the polished pink over the pale papaya. I got a deeper orange. That's really cool. Ooh, I'm liking this one. You think too bold, Sharon? I'm afraid that that's what would happen too. But you know what? We're just playing, right? How will we know if we don't try? I mean, this is just practice. Maybe let's try it just in a corner. Just to kill the curiosity. Let's just see what would happen. And I can always stamp off if I think it's too dark. I don't think it's going to be too dark, though. Oh, I think it's a pretty color. Now, definitely I'm going to have to come in with some other colors to balance this. But actually the Blackberry Bliss wasn't quite as strong as I thought it was going to be. I think I'm going to come in with Pale Papaya and hit these lighter areas some more. Let's make sure we got our dauber nice and clean. Let's bring it back, the Pale Papaya, and maybe even some of the Gray Granite. Let's deepen this. And let's use this Pale Papaya as our light color to blend over those darker ones and just smooth it out and help blend it. Boy, this has got such a marbly look. See how that just started blending these colors? Look at that. Oh man, I hope this is showing up for you. Now, okay, look at this. See where our glue was? Can you see that? Can you see where the glue dried? I hope that's showing up for you. Oh, I just saw it. Oh, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I like it. But I think it needs, oh, I'm kind of afraid to go back in with gray. I think I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to take my own advice and leave it alone for a little bit. But isn't that one pretty? I like it. Let's move these colors out of the way. Ah! It does look gold. Oh, looks good. I thought, Sharon, you said it looks good, and from here when I'm reading it said it looks gold, but you know what? I am like finding gold in when it blended. So that's what I thought you said. But I'm just going to set this one aside. So now we've got, boy, you can kind of see like a trend here of colors. But now let's do another one. Let's bring out, oh, and I didn't go back in and play with my texture stamp, but that's okay because I'm not sure I'm at that point yet with blending the colors. So what is this one? Okay, so this is from the cute Halloween. I pulled Flirty Flamingo, Pumpkin Pie, and Highland Heather. Let's see what we get out of these three colors. And then there's one more we're going to play with. And you could go back into the annual catalog and look at color combinations too. Okay, so, boy, when it comes to what is my lightest color, I think we're going to go with the Flirty Flamingo first. It could be that, or it could have been the Highland Heather. Clean our dauber. I looked at the clock and I'm like, oh boy, I'm running over, but we didn't get started at 11:30. Okay, so this is Flirty Flamingo. Boy, this one goes on. You don't need a whole lot of Flirty Flamingo. That gave a lot of coverage, really good coverage. Gonna come in with my gray. You don't have to use the gray. But I just thought it just helped lay down the colors. Okay, so let's stop there. And let's bring in, what color do I want to do next? I'm going to go with the pumpkin pie and leave the purple to where I would need to fill in. And I want to be careful that nothing gets muddy. Okay, so my pumpkin pie. Wow, just looks like a darker pale papaya. Oh, there it hits. There it grabs some color. Look at this right here, where the glue just grabbed it. Oh, and I saw this coming. Can you see where the glue was kind of thick right here? And it really grabbed it. Here some more. Okay, I want to leave room for purple. We might be able to, if we wanted this to be Scream Halloween, then we could go in probably with a green. Let's see here. I was just afraid to try too many colors all at once because I didn't want to muddy it. Ooh. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that purple. Oh my goodness, do I love this. Oh, wow. Here I'm getting a little muddy, so I would want to be careful not to. If anything, I'm going to want to come back in with Flirty Flamingo and highlight that instead of making it any darker. I think I'm going to stop with the Highland Heather. And is that what this is? Yeah, Highland Heather. I think I'm going to stop with that. And if anything, I think I want to come back in and put a little bit more Flirty Flamingo in this corner here because that started to look a little muddy. So I want something, I'm going to put something bright in here. Oh my goodness, look at how that changed that again. Oh my goodness. How the Flirty Flamingo is reacting with the other colors. Maybe put some over here. And I'm not using a heavy hand. Look at that, how that blended right there. Oh my goodness. I think you're going to have a whole bunch of aha moments when you're doing this technique. This is just smoothing out all of those colors, creating new colors as it blends. Look at that. I think I might try a little bit more over here, but it's almost to where I think I might need a little bit more purple. Or, you know what? I'm going to come in with some gray. And that gray just almost gave that a green. When it combined with some of these other colors, it almost has given it an olive green look. Oh, wow. I think I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it. Whoops, I didn't mean to cover up my gray. Just seems like I wonder, I'm thinking about bringing in a green. I don't know how it's going to react. What if I did... What about... I think Pear Pizzazz is going to make it look too much like all the others. Didn't I have Old Olive out? I gotta try, because I just think that it needs something. Ooh, pretty. It just needed something deep. And I'm just going to keep this around to the outside, kind of. Maybe a little bit in the middle. Maybe a little bit right there. So it's just a matter of playing. And maybe I should have left it alone. I don't know. I can try and recreate it. But we'll just set that one to the side. They're all kind of starting to look alike. I'm going to have to get out of these pinks and things like that, because they're all kind of looking alike. What's our last one? I think this one is where I was going to bring in Misty Moonlight. Okay, so this one I'm going to use, what did I have? Bumblebee. I was going to bring in Bumblebee. I have Misty Moonlight out. Misty Moonlight. Was I going to use Calypso Coral, maybe? Do I even have that out? Calypso Coral. Yeah, I do. Calypso Coral. Or I've got Soft Succulent. I want to say this is going to be too bold, but Blackberry Bliss didn't end up being too bold. Let's go with these three colors first, and then we'll see. What do we got to lose? Okay, so let's put our Bumblebee down first. Okay. Ooh. Bumblebee looks to me like Daffodil Delight. Oh, that's strong. That is strong. Kind of like how Flirty Flamingo came shot right out of the gate being so bold. I'm worried about the dark colors being bold, and look what our lighter ones are doing. Okay. Yellow and gray is always a good combination too. I'm sure I'm going to get one that I'm going to like, oh, Julie, what were you thinking? But let's just play. Let's bring in... Let's do Calypso Coral. I don't know if I'm going to like this. I don't know if I'm going to like this. But let's see what happens. Definitely going to have to bring in some gray or not gray. Soft Succulent or Misty Moonlight. I love the Designer Series paper, and I love all of these colors that are in this Harvest suite. But I think it's going to require some play to get the right combination if I'm going to do this technique. Let's just stamp this off. This blue might not be bad. Oh. It's creating some greens for me. Kind of reminds me of a sunset. Now let's bring in the soft succulent. I'm not really feeling this one at all. But maybe we're going to get lucky and some color is going to work that's going to bring it together. Ooh, soft succulent is dark. But you know, it actually is all those muted colors that are in that collection. And this is really helping blend those other colors. I think this could lend itself well to that designer series paper. But I think we're going to go back, maybe some more Calypso Coral. I don't know. I have a feeling this one is not going to work out so well. It needs, oh, that's not. Or maybe the, I have a feeling I'm just going to screw this up. Maybe hit it with then some of the bumblebee. I don't know. It's, oh, it took my sunset and my southwest sky right away. And then I could put this piece somewhere. You know, maybe it's not appealing as one piece, but what if you cut it down? You know, what if by, ooh, now look what we got here. But if you broke this down, boy, didn't this change. I'm liking it better, but I still am not in love with it. I don't think bringing in the Misty Moonlight again is going to do anything for it. Maybe some gray. Nah. Meh, meh, meh. Stop, Julie. Just stop, stop, stop. I'm just going to stop. I think this is going to this is going to work somewhere in a project. Like I said, maybe if you just use the strips, or maybe you just used a circle punch and punched out the areas that you liked. But this is all a part of playing. Is, you know, I was saying, they say to give yourself permission to play. You won't know. You might get some really happy surprises. And I guess that's... Then when you get that pleasant surprise, make sure you write down those colors that you use so that you know that they work well together. So here we're just playing. Look at how these colors just seem to kind of be the same, but just different hues and stuff. But just play with mixing colors together. I just was trying to stay away from making anything too muddy. I could definitely pull in another color. What if I wanted to pull in purple with this? Or even yellow, or gosh, maybe some blues, maybe like a balmy blue. Once you've got your colors down, then take a look at them and go back into your inks and pull another color and see what happens. But that was the technique that I wanted to show you. And that's why I was saying, you know, a week of play. Look at the texture of this when the light catches it from where the glue was. That is so cool. Oh man, the light catches that. That is really, really cool. But give yourself permission to play, practice, and when you've got a color combination that you like, that you want to go with, then I would put that on your bigger piece. And if you want your cardstock to lay flatter, put this in a book or under some kind of a weight. But when when we go to adhere it down to when we make our cards, if your pieces should lay flat when we cut them. But if you want this really flat, then just put it in a heavy book until you're ready to use it, and then pull it out. But that's just the technique that I wanted to show you, just by using some school glue. Sharon's asking, are we going to be punching out or cutting different sizes? Yes. I will, when we take our 6x6 of what DSP you created, then we're gonna chop that up and then put it into a card. What I would suggest is, if you have pull a color that you like out of what you created, and find a sheet of designer series paper, if you want to mix it up, that coordinates with it. So would this be called a double 6x6 one sheet wonder if we're going to bring in another piece of designer series paper? Just something that will break up all the color that's going on here, but complement it, and then we'll put it on a card base. I'll have that information, Sharon, the closer it gets to next week. Just concentrate on playing right now with blending your colors. Oh, thanks, Doris. Oh, yeah, sometimes you have to walk away from them and then come back. And also, as they're drying, the colors will probably soften. So something that looks maybe loud or too bold, once the ink dries a little bit, maybe it'll be a little bit more subtle. But for now, it's just playing and seeing how those colors dry and blend together. So I'll have more on, as far as the project, going into next week. And I can't wait to see what you create and what colors that you find to work well together. I just went to my catalogs and looked at the coordinating colors for the different suites. You don't have to do that. Where's that one that I did? This one right here. This one was Granny Apple Green, Bermuda Bay, Daffodil Delight, and there was one other color. I think Pool Party. Pool Party was in this with the gray. So it's just like, take your favorite colors that you gravitate to. Maybe go with something monochromatic. Maybe work with a light, a medium, and maybe a darker blue, or those same, a light, a medium, and a dark of any other color, greens or oranges. And then once you see how they blend well, maybe add in a pop of color that complements it. just play. That's just what I want you to do, is just play. But if you need a starting point as to whether, gosh, I don't know what colors might work together, go into your catalogs and look at the collections and what Stampin' Up! Has already told you that work well together, and start there. Because I am color challenged, whether it's fabric or whether it's working with paper. Pulling the colors together that work is the most work for me, especially in quilting. It'll take me forever to pull bolts of fabric down and get the right shade or the right hue of a color that makes all the other bolts of fabric I put down work. So for me, that I spend more time on that, and I would probably spend more time on that even with paper and ink, just because that's how it rolls for me. I am color challenged. If you have any color wheels, I have a color wheel somewhere in my craft room from Stampin' Up! From back in the day. I mean, I don't know how old this color wheel is. But if you look at, going across the color wheel to the other side, or you can, if you've got a color wheel, use that. And then just find because if you use a Stampin' Up! One from as way back as I did, of course the colors have changed. You're going to have to look at what's current, or maybe you still have those ink pads. And you might have to substitute, but it'll give you a really good starting place as to what colors work well together. You just want to stay away from mud, unless you're making a fall color combo and you would want that mud or that rust color. You don't care about muddying up the colors, because actually you're going for a fall feel when you pulled your colors, maybe some of the rust and some oranges and yellows, and throw in a rich raspberry, something with those, what reminds you of fall. So that's today. Oh, Mindy's watching her glue dry. Oh, that is so funny. Just sitting here waiting for my glue to dry, because I'm just ready to dig in. And when I was been playing with coming up with just some examples or just playing myself, that was the hardest part, was waiting for the glue to dry. And it really doesn't take that long, maybe a half an hour. But it was the longest half an hour because I wanted to get right in there and start playing with my ink and blending colors and stuff. So I get it. When you're waiting for your glue to dry, it'll feel like forever, but it won't be. So, and you know what is really crazy right now? The colors I see here and what I am seeing on the laptop are totally different. This piece here in front of me is very bright. On the computer, it's very subdued. In fact, all of these look really subdued for whatever reason. Because in front of me, every single one of these is bright. Every single one. That is crazy. So now I'm wondering, what does it really, really look like? I have no idea. Isn't that crazy? How different it looks on a laptop versus what's right in front of me. Okay, that's just more surprises for you. So stay tuned. The closer we get into next week, I will give you more cutting instructions for the one sheet wonder. Remember, you're gonna be using at least a 6x6 square. So practice and then do your 6x6. I'm going to make mine a little bigger, maybe a 6 1/4, maybe even 6 1/2, just so that I can trim off. I can kind of like pick out what parts, what area I like the most out of that piece that I created. But we will use these in a card. We're just creating our own designer series paper. And remember, if you've got any textured stamps, that will really lend to your piece. Maybe you have, if you want to give it a botanical look, maybe you've got some stamps that are leaves. Practice like with what first generation, what generation of stamping is going to look best on that. Do you want to go bold and go first generation stamping, or do you want to stamp off and see what it gives your piece? We're kind of like designing our own fabric if you think about it. So don't be afraid to stamp on top of the colors that you create as your background, okay? Go crazy, go wild, let your imagination go. It's just paper and ink. If you don't like it, put it aside. It will lend itself to a project somewhere down the line, I promise you. Even if you're making tags, even if you cut this up or punch circles or get out your dies, you are going to be able to use this, okay? So I will see you next Thursday at 11:30, and I can't wait to see what you've come up with. Share any ideas or maybe some things that worked out well for you if you want to share those in the group prior to next Thursday. That would be great because we can all learn from each other. But that's all that I got for you guys today. Thank you for coming in a little late with me. I do appreciate it. Everybody have a really, really good day, and I will talk with you later.